Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the In the Mixer podcast. My name is Phil, and today we've got a lot of stuff to round up. The football action has started in England. Friday night, the championship started, but the real action was on Saturday as Bristol City went top of the league. Only 100 points left to go, lads, before you can secure promotion. Also, Fulham drew with Norwich City. Yeah, that was a good game, 1-0. A late equaliser from Nelson Oliveira, who, wanted to show Daniel Farker, I think the manager is. He wanted to show off his shirt, pointing at the name. Fortunately, I haven't forgotten the name of my right-hand man. That is Michael Eden, who is with me today.
Hello, Phil, and everybody listening.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're also going to round up the League 1 and 2 action, which, like Charlton, unfortunately early on we're a man down, but like Yeovil, we would 8-2-B in Elias's position because he's currently at work.
I like it.
Also, to Wembley, where we saw the new ABBA penalty style, or ABBA, and the winner really did take it all, as Frenchman Olivier Giroud scores the decisive penalty in that shootout, where Chelsea score un, miss deux, and Courtois is left red-faced. You like that? Come on.
That was actually incredible. So I'll give everyone some context. Sorry, Phil said to me before the show, before we started, that he had a great punny intro to sort of run off, and I wanted to know what it was, but he never reveals his secret. So I'm hearing it at the same time as you guys are. That's incredible, I'll be honest.
I recommend turning off at this point because it's not going to get any better.
Oh yeah, it goes downhill from here.
From Community Shields to Super Cups, we're going to have a little insight to the Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Germany Super Cup final. Also Benfica lifting the Portuguese cup, might mention that a little bit. And also, big transfer news. A huge name, gone from Barcelona. Unbelievable stuff. So we will talk about that Neymar transfer a little bit, and we'll answer a few of your listener questions, and some other stuff. So where else to start? The Championship, England's second biggest division, literally.
Probably more entertaining.
Probably, actually. If it was on telly more, it would be. But
yeah, exactly. Right.
But yeah. So where else to start? Friday night, we had Nottingham Forest and Millwall charging up. I think it was the Sunderland Derby game that was on telly. I don't think either really lit up the Friday night.
Weren't the greatest of adverts.
No, but, I'm not sure where people were predicting Sunderland to finish this season because they were so tragic last year. But surely they'd be up there in the conversation for going up in them playoff spots. The same as Derby, so a draw looks a good result for both of them, really. But Saturday's where the real action happened. A couple of big games, really. We'll talk about Fulham-Norwich, which I mentioned in the intro. Fulham, great little side, had a fantastic end to last season. Norwich had a fantastic beginning half of last season, both colliding here, and both probably looking for promotion. Would you agree this season?
Yeah, I'm about to say they're probably both definitely odds on to get playoffs at least, so you'd have to argue that a draw in this one is maybe a fair result, given the sort of the two sides, but momentum should have really been with Fulham from last season and the signings that they made.
Yeah, so they unfortunate not to win this one really as a drew 1-1. Yite and Aluko had a lot of chances. They hit the post as well for them a couple of times, but it was actually Nelson Oliveira in the last minute coming on as a sub, scored, big celebration, shirt off, hold his name and number right up to the manager's face, pointing at it a bit. I don't know. How would you react to that?
Right. I think he was pointing at the number 9.
Oh, you do?
Enough to say, I am the number 9. I should be the number 9 from that's how I interpreted it. And his manager took it quite well, it seemed.
Yeah, I saw the post-match interview. He seemed to actually be like, yeah, he's going to calm down when he gives it a bit of time.
It maybe reflects a good atmosphere within the squad in that it wasn't like a malicious look at this. It was almost in a jokey fashion, which is good. I
think, yeah.
But maybe he's putting across his argument constantly, and it was further evidence for it.
I think it's going to be interesting, that one, because you could see it that way in his interview, or you could see his interview almost as like, oh, I can't, there's so much pressure on him that he sort of can't really contradict or say anything bad about Oliveira, who has played in this division before, the Premier League as well, hasn't really lit it up, and if he's just going to put him in at the start of the next game and doesn't do much, then it's going to be an interesting thing, because Farker's got a lot of pressure on him. Obviously Klopp and is it Wagner or Huddersfield coming from that Dortmund setup and sort of he's coming in as a Dortmund youth manager and coming straight into Norwich. It's going to be interesting to see how he does in this division. We'll also talk about Villa and Hull, also a 1-1 draw. John Terry had a very good game. I don't know if you saw any of his stuff. Very solid.
Frustrating as a Birmingham City fan, of course.
Also, Gabriel Agbonlahor's already scored his single goal of the season. So
yeah, that's it done now. Well, he can't score against us, so that's it done.
It's done.
But to be fair, it's a brilliant result because he's got his goal out the way against Hull, which I don't really care about because I don't think we'll be anywhere near them.
It was a lovely little dubby from Scott Hogan from the ball from I can't remember who it was on the right, but it was a lovely little lead for him, and Agbonlahor just slotted in at the back post. I can't really remember Hull's goal. That's terrible.
No,
but there was a big miss at the end.
Scored,
Youngster Andre Green. The ball came to him. The keeper completely missed it. It's come to him. I think it actually bounced up. I can't remember. Anyway, it's a free header 2 yards out, and he somehow put it across the face and missed. That was unbelievable stuff.
To be honest, Villa youngsters do have a tendency to not really turn up, though, and that is not completely biased. But you've got to say the same thing for Jack Grealish as well. That the Villa youngsters are not exactly proven to be the most successful.
Jack Grealish does turn up though. If you
I don't know.
Have a couple of bottles of WKD, he'll be around.
Yeah. Well, he'll be on the floor in Tenerife, but.
Another open goal miss was for Brentford. I think it was Jota who missed, and they lost unfortunately to the boys are back in the Championship, Sheffield United. That was another big.
And Billy Sharp back in the Championship as well.
Did he score the goal?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, what?
I do find it quite remarkable how Billy Sharp is he's such a consistently reliable goal scorer. I mean, he's pretty much been all around Yorkshire now and scored goals in the Championship and League One. So, full credit to him for still being relevant. Really,
he's like Kevin Phillips when he was in his latter years. Just hangs around, scores. Another man, Brett Pittman, who's a bit like that. We'll talk about him a bit later when we get to League One. But another game, QPR 2, Reading 0. A big loss for Reading at the start of this season. Connor Washington grabbing a brace. I think this is probably the shock result of the Championship opening weekend. Would you agree, or not really?
Yeah, I tend to, but I kind of thought that Reading wouldn't really continue with the form they had last year. I don't think they'll reach the heights that they did last year, especially. Got to remember they did have Thiago Ilori sent off, but that was obviously before. That was 1-0, I think.
Yeah,
but
that was for the second penalty.
Connor Washington's always been sort of never been a QPR quality player, in my opinion. Obviously, he was linked with quite a few clubs last year and destroyed Birmingham last year when I went to watch. He is, and it could be a season where he carries QPR above a position where they may deserve, really. It's interesting to see him get a good start.
Yeah, he was great at Peterborough, obviously. Moved to QPR, didn't quite work for him, but maybe he's had that sort of season now and he's sort of ready to go. He's comfortable with all the facilities and things, and maybe it's just that sort of thing. Also went to the Euros with Northern Ireland, didn't really do anything there, but so that hopefully will kickstart his season because I actually quite like him as a player.
Yeah, me too.
Preston also beat Sheffield Wednesday 1-0. So that meant no teams that got into the playoffs last season actually won.
I'm pretty sure last season, I might be completely wrong, but I think Preston were a bit of a bogey team for Sheffield Wednesday last season.
I think they won a lot of games at home 1-0.
Well, yeah, Preston have always been a tough side to beat. It's a very, very, very rigid side, and Sheffield Wednesday. Well, I think they've made a lack of signings as far as the fans are probably concerned. Probably wanted to see more attacking signings, so maybe that's going to be a problem throughout the season. That's going to reflect the results.
Yeah, Bristol City also went top of the league with a 3-1 win. It matters so much at this stage of the season. Barnsley, a bit lucky to get a consolation, but
they lost a lot of players, haven't they? Barnsley. They almost had a clear out, especially losing their best centre back, and
they lost Gurahan in January as well.
Yeah, exactly, halfway through the season last season. So I really do think it's going to be a long season for Barnsley because they did achieve a very good position last year, probably because of some fantastic individuals. But those individuals have started to move on, and I don't think Barnsley have particularly replaced them. So
no. Not very well at all.
Yeah. So I think it really, especially I think a Bristol City side, which I don't actually rate to be top of the table side, obviously, but I think it could be a reflection of Barnsley's level.
Yeah, okay.
There'd potentially be another Rotherham. That's the quality of the squad I see. I really do. I really see them as the quality of the squad is their League One squad missing the fantastic players that they had to bring them up last season. So.
We'll talk about the Friday night games quickly. Just wanted to mention about the Sunderland Derby game. A nice tribute for Bradley Lowry there. I believe there's a minute silence as well, so that was nice to see, and it was such a sad story over the summer. Also wanted to mention on a lighter note, Simon Grayson's hair. Not sure what's going on there.
Didn't see it.
He hasn't seen it for years. It's all around the back. He's gone in with a mirror. He's like shaved the top, and he hasn't seen the sides and the back, and it just looks very silly. Because he used to have, even when he had quite thin hair, you know, he wasn't a bad looking chap. He was quite. He's got that sort of Yorkshire like. I don't know if he's.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean? I always describe it as like thick eyebrow. Like not eyebrows themselves, but like the skin around it.
Yeah,
that's like thick jaw. Yeah,
he's like the bad boy on Casualty that would be a bit of the ugly heartthrob sort of thing. Also, Forest beating Millwall. Forest were very lucky here. Millwall really should have won that game at least. And I think they had a goal disallowed, and unfortunate for them. Should we move down a tier then? League One.
Are we not even going to mention Birmingham? I'm right here.
I mean, I really didn't want to because they cost me,
me neither, but
like 500 quid. As they're the only team to let me down in my ACCA. But okay, you take it away.
I just want to mention the Paul Merson prediction pre-match. He predicted 1-0 Ipswich, got absolutely slated. His logic was awful in that Mick overachieving for the money he's given, etc., etc., which I personally think is rubbish. Birmingham City, were brilliant under Redknapp when he came in, but awful for the most part of the season. And a lot of other stuff that it looked like he just looked at the table and sort of, Harry took over, results turned around, kind of thing. So, but Birmingham made a lack of signings, and of course Ipswich beat us 1-0. I expected a draw, I'll be honest, but for us not to score is maybe a reflection of the lack of attacking signings we've made over the summer. I think we're putting a lot of pressure on Shea Adams to step up this year, and I understand he's sort of getting to the age where he should be in the Championship if he's looking to become a top player. This should be the time where he's going to show his class, and I don't think that's particularly the right thing to do, especially with Clayton Donaldson up front. Good player, does hold the ball up really well, but not necessarily got the quality we need. And if we're getting beat by teams like Ipswich, I know it's first game of the season, but we're not going to be finishing in the place where we probably want to.
Okay. I was trying to find actually Paul Merson's other Super 6 predictions, but I couldn't do it without audio coming through my headphones, so we'll move on from that. League One then, I'll have a little chat about League One. Like I said earlier, Brett Pittman scoring 2 back in League One with Portsmouth. I believe he was at Ipswich last season, but he's one of those sort of English strikers who always get you goals in the lower leagues. So yeah, some big teams in this division. Portsmouth, Wigan, all these Premier League teams. Formerly Oldham, of course, as well. Blackpool down there, Bradford down there, Charlton, Wimbledon, and Blackburn Rovers. Some huge names in that division. Not many of those won. Blackburn lost on their first game against Southend, and they are one of the favourites to go up.
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting, especially to Southend. But Southend are just one of those solid football league teams again. It's like the lower division Preston, so maybe Blackburn will struggle. I'm going to put a mention out. Doncaster Rovers drawing 0-0 to Gillingham severely ruined my day. That let me down for only the 56p. Just last sort of round figure in my account let me down for £130 from a 7-fold. So that frustrated me.
League One, I don't mean to be disrespectful to any teams that are in League One, but it is a boring division. Like League Two, you get the odd newcomers from the conference. There's the whole football league down. Championship, you got the promised land of the Premier League. There's so many good teams there. League One is such a literally by definition, it's a middle ground. A team that played well, Fleetwood got a 2-0 win. Very tight games in this division actually. No games actually won by more than 2 goals. But Fleetwood, a great performance from them. I think it was McConey, I think his name is, who got both goals. Rotherham, who came down from the Championship as well. I'm not sure how they're predicted to do this season, but
I'd fully expect them to not do anything. The team was of League One quality anyway, so
yeah. I think Fleetwood are looking, and there's a lot of teams looking to push definitely into playoffs, possibly automatics. But I think the teams looking for automatics on the face of things, probably Wigan, Blackburn, Portsmouth, and Fleetwood both have money behind them as well, a relative amount.
Bradford.
Well, Bradford. There's a lot of teams in that division who are going for those, so it is a very competitive decision. Despite me saying it's boring, I do apologise to any fans of that division. We'll talk about League Two. I actually have notes on League Two because I was interested. I'm sorry, League One fans. I'm really sorry. League Two, we had some interesting games. Obviously, the Luton 8,
games.
Yeovil 2. Unbelievable start of the season for Luton. Collins bagging himself a hat-trick for Luton, and it's got to spell dark days for Yeovil. I believe did they just survive last season by the skin of their teeth? I think they might have done.
Yeah,
So,
9 minutes at a time in that game. Wow, what happened?
A lot of goals, a lot of celebrations.
Yes.
A lot of, like you said, a high scoring division yesterday. Stevenage 3, Newport 3. I mentioned Scott Bennett, who had an absolutely awful day for Newport. He actually, one of his pass backs was intercepted and scored by Stevenage, and he also gave away a penalty, which put them 3-1 down, or 2-0 down, I can't remember, but they were 3-1 down Newport, and they actually came back to salvage a 3-3 draw.
Yeah,
so I think
at least he didn't give them the win, which Danny Ayala did for Middlesbrough to Wolves. He gifted the win to Wolves.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that.
A simple pass. Yeah, I think that's a decent segue to bring it in. Just a simple pass across. It looked so scripted. If it was in sort of a deep foreign league, you go, oh, there's definitely some match fixing going on there. But it was really obvious, and it was a little strange and an awful error, which cost Middlesbrough. Or obviously, he'll be promotion candidates as well.
Huge win for Wolves, though.
Yeah.
Huge win for Wolves.
Really big confidence booster.
They've spent a lot of money on that Neves and stuff, but I believe Middlesbrough have actually spent almost 3 times more than Wolves this window. Middlesbrough spent 15 million on Assombalonga and a lot of other players too. So, they'll, again, like the season they came up, season before last, they'll definitely be looking to break that glass ceiling and smash back into the Premier League. But they're desperately hoping not to get stuck in there like they were before. I don't really know what you can say about them, because they looked pretty average, to be honest. And Wolves, always going to be in the ascendancy with their young players coming through. Also that Scott Bennett guy for Newport actually was subbed off, and then Newport
so he couldn't
back,
make any more.
Yeah, bless him. Forest Green Rovers. They're going to look back at this of the Football League time of where it all began. Get it? That's a pun.
Hey.
They drew 2-2 home to Barnet. Not much else to say about that. Football League new boys, well, not new boys, they've been in the league before. Lincoln, FA Cup, Wonder Heroes last season, of course, got a 2-2 draw away to Wickham. Very good result there. Wickham,
really good result.
Wickham going to be pushing for those playoffs once again. And Coventry getting a nice 3-0 win on the board. Fair play to them up in such a tough time of it last season. I'm not sure the future of their stadium is still in doubt. We'll hope that, just hope good things for them and their fans. They've had such awful years supporting that football club, unfortunately, but hopefully this season will be a bright one for them. And I also want to mention Crawley, who lost 3-1 to Port Vale. They actually have Harry Kewell in charge, so let's hope he does something for them and they don't go down under. That's another pun, because he's Australian.
Yeah, right. Oh, accidental, but brilliant.
It wasn't accidental. What do you mean? That was brilliant.
No, it was great. I really
enjoyed
it.
Everyone send, praise to me.
Don't send.
Yeah, okay. So, did you see any of the Community Shield action, which was today, Arsenal v Chelsea?
I haven't. I really wanted to see Sarah Kolasinac's goal. Kolasinac, sorry, goal. Is it?
Yeah, all the plaudits go to Xhaka with the ball, who I thought had a very good game.
But apart from that, no, I didn't really, to be honest. It doesn't. It's not something that particularly grabs my interest either. Yeah. Even if I was around to watch it, I probably would have edged away and watched some Come Down with Me or something like that.
Come Down with Me. Well, this is as competitive as a friendly can get. I think Arsenal coming off the back of their big Emirates Cup win, getting another trophy in the cabinet. Fair play to them, but I think they very much deserved this victory. They had a Welbeck, a Iwobi, and Lacazette up front starting the game. All looked sharp, all looked good. I'm a big fan of Welbeck and Lacazette. with his pace is going to cause defenders problems this season. Oxlade-Chamberlain also played very well. I think Chelsea went in front, and they're actually very fortunate to go in front. Straight after the second half, lapse of concentration, the ball just came out from a free kick, I think, headed back into the box, and just they switched off completely, and Victor Moses was there at the back post to put it in. I think, but I don't think Chelsea particularly... I mean, they had chances, but they weren't as good as Arsenal going forward. Arsenal were fantastic going forward. Mertesacker got a very nasty gash as well above his eye. If you see a picture of that, it's big old one. It's at least an inch.
Big old one.
Big gash.
Big old gash.
A BFG, as it were. Because he's the big German.
Oh, okay.
That one was... I didn't mean that one, but I saw an opportunity. I went for it. And yeah, Xhaka actually, I just want to say, Granit Xhaka, I thought had a very good game. And playing alongside El Neni, so he doesn't have to be as a defensive midfielder as perhaps he has been in the past, because I personally think he should be allowed a bit more freedom to dictate the play rather than defending, because we all know his tackling is not too good. Someone got sent off as well. I can't remember. Oh, it was Pedro who got sent off. Yeah. A very harsh decision if you see that. It just sort of came behind. I don't think it was particularly high enough to be a straight red card. But yeah.
I don't know. I would have. I've seen a replay of it. So I think the way he catches him is what is. I don't think it's the fact that it's from behind. I think it's the fact that studs are showing on the back of his ankle. I think that's what there's. I think if you were to slow it down and replay it, it could have been a serious injury. So I think the red card is justifiable. Maybe at full speed it's a little bit harsh, but it does look a little cynical in terms of like the way his foot sort of digs in, studs first, and flicks away. So I don't know. I wouldn't completely justify it, but I don't think it'd be defendable either.
Okay. Well, he took a long time getting his card out, the referee, and also
he probably had a good think about it, which I have no issue with that. It's a big turning point in the game if he sends somebody off. So which it kind of proved to be.
I don't think he was going in with much force, but
no.
But yeah, I mean, the real hero of this situation was Mark Clattenburg in the BT studios. He said, and well, almost a quote. I don't actually have the quote here, but he said something along the lines of, "It could be a yellow, and that'll be okay, and it could also be a red, and that's also fine." Which I'm not sure why you'd hire someone for their, expertise.
Was that Mark Clattenburg, not Howard Webb?
No, Clatz is in there now.
Oh right. Well, at least they're giving similar opinions, so there is consistency in the FA. That's good to hear.
They also had Gerrard and Lampard in the studio, predicting their top four. Gerrard put Liverpool in second.
Yeah, Lampard did he put Everton anywhere near it?
No.
No.
Although, I'll get to Hoddle in a minute, but Lampard put Chelsea top of his top four, and Glenn Hoddle put 5 teams in his top 4, so that sums it all up. But
that's about right, yeah.
As Glenn Hoddle was talking about his the top 6 and Everton pushing into the top 6, I think there's a video of Gerrard giving a bit of a smirk and a shake of the head towards that. But Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea don't necessarily look good when they're playing. They're very much counter-attacking, so they're going to obviously want to absorb pressure. But they did ride their luck a bit with Arsenal. And
is it a reflection of what could go on in the league in that game? Because I think any other Community Shield would have been like no, but I think because it was competitive and played at a high level, maybe I don't think it is, especially with the starting lineups. I don't think there'll be particularly a reflection.
I think Arsenal were basically full strength. They obviously missed Koscielny. Kolasinac will probably start.
Would you say? Yeah, the thing is though, where? Because aren't they really enjoying playing Oxlade-Chamberlain?
He actually played centre back. He played.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
When Oxlade-Chamberlain went forward, he sort of switched across, and they almost became a back four with Bellerin on the right and
which I don't understand
holding in the middle.
Kolasinac, his form at Schalke came when he was playing that left wing back position. In there, he was scoring goals and getting lots of assists, but they don't want to move Oxlade-Chamberlain out of there. So I don't know how Arsenal's full strength is to even comment on it.
Well, we'll see when Gabriel was obviously out, Koscielny out, so we'll see what happens when they're in. But he had a very good pre-season, I believe, Kolasinac.
Walcott as well was not included in the starting lineup, was he?
No, well, he's rubbish.
90 goals last season.
All in the first half of the season. But, yeah, I think Kolasinac... Obviously, Monreal was converted from a left-back to a centre-back, so maybe Wenger's a fan of his stature and stuff, so maybe... He's
very strong, I'll be honest.
Yeah, he looks stocky.
He is really stocky. He's a
really
hunk of a
stocky.
man.
Yeah, I think Arsenal can be happy with the performance, but the fact that Chelsea were missing players like Eden Hazard,
Yeah.
and Bakayoko as well wasn't in the squad. They're gonna have time to
Arsenal
improve.
have a deep. Arsenal have quite quite a lot of depth in their squad now.
Mm.
From what I'm seeing, like they really are, especially with the youth players that are growing into the team, as well as the signings they're making. The issues that they're coming across, where they sort of have these dips in form, could be ironed out with the sort of rotation of the starting lineup. So I've just sort of looked through the Arsenal squad once again, and I do quite like the look of the squad this season.
Yeah, I'd be very happy as an Arsenal fan having not sold Giroud, because he came on and he gave something else. Admittedly, he didn't score.
He's completely different to the strikers they have. Completely different.
And Lacazette was so sharp and quick feet, hit the post, after a very good effort. But Giroud came on. All right, you could argue didn't do much, but he did create another option, which something they haven't really had before going forward. And he obviously scored the decisive penalty with very, it was very convictional, and he's very confident coming up to that. So he's obviously a very confident player. Yeah, I'm very happy. I'd be very happy with Giroud if I was an Arsenal fan. I think he's a good striker and he can offer a lot. Did you catch any of Bayern Munich Dortmund?
No, I didn't even know that it had happened, to be honest. So there's my love of football, and yeah.
There's a nice little video going around of the Aubameyang goal. Lewandowski got right into the box, great chance. I think it was a good save or a block, I can't remember, but Dortmund straight out the other end. Typical Aubameyang pace and a lovely little dinked finish over the keeper. But the Bayern Munich equaliser, the 88th minute equaliser, was lovely. It was
it own goal?
Yeah, it was a beautiful goalmouth scramble, about 3 or 4 strikes, hitting players, hitting bars, and then it eventually comes out to hit a Dortmund player, and then everyone sort of falls over each other, and it just squirms across the line. And of course it was Bayern Munich who ended up winning on penalties. 2 Germans missed 3 of the penalties in that.
Ooh.
So, look at that.
But Mark Bartra missed the all-important one, so...
Yeah, bless him, poor guy. But Dortmund not going away anytime soon. Still the thorn in that Bayern Munich side and making things very, very difficult for them, despite, rumours of Aubameyang and other players leaving. They're still proving to be the thorn and that competition that Bayern Munich really need.
Were Bayern Munich full strength?
No. I know Neuer wasn't playing. I can't remember. I don't have the lineups. You've asked me the question. You should have prepared for this.
It's to my head.
We'll move on to the other Super Cup, the Portuguese one, where Benfica won. So good for them, beating Guimarães, I think it is. I can't remember, but yeah, good win for them.
All we have to say on that?
Yeah,
Portuguese
don't know enough. I know Jonas scored, and I like Jonas. Seferovic scored, and he's Swiss, and I like him.
Yeah.
2 big Super Cup games coming up in the next week. We've got the European Super Cup between Real Madrid and Manchester United. That's going to be a huge game. And the Spanish
you sound like
Super
a
Cup.
Sky Sports advertiser.
Well, it's on BT, so I'd be doing a terrible job.
Dele Alli will be doing it as well. So.
Oh god, that trailer is interesting. Also, at the end of that trailer, there's a kid standing there with telly. Is that his kid? Because if it is, he would have to have been like 16.
Not a clue.
I don't know. Who knows? It's just a kid with big hair, and he's just trying to watch the football.
Big hair.
He's got big hair. It's like huge, covering the whole TV.
No.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, so Real Madrid, Manchester United going to be a big game probably. Probably the 2 biggest clubs in the world. 2 of the 3, definitely.
Commercially, definitely. Well, Manchester United were bigger than Real Madrid not long ago, and I don't know. I think Real Madrid probably with signings of like Bale and Ronaldo have overtaken. So yeah, definitely commercially, especially if you consider their international presence. Yeah.
Yeah, they've also got Barcelona on Sunday, which will be a big... Did they play... Yeah, they played each other in pre-season, didn't they? I think Barcelona won 2-1 or 3-2? No, it's 3-2.
Oh, yeah.
It's 3-2, I remember now. But
Relevant.
I think that was in America. So we'll see what that has to do with anything else this season. Yeah. Oh, we have a result. Leeds have beaten Bolton 3-1. Oh, no, it might still be going on.
3-2
now. 3-2. Never mind.
Yep.
That caught my eye because Leeds have suddenly on top of the championship, but they're not anymore, so that's alright. We won't give you full-time confirmation because we'll probably have finished the podcast by
Oh,
then.
the Calvin Phillips scored too. The actual Leeds kid.
Who's that?
Calvin Phillips.
Or was he like a
How's
youngster coming through?
Yeah. Oh, he's not as young as he was anymore. I think he's like my age, 21. But...
Most people aren't as young as they were.
Exactly.
I'll quickly give a quick plug, I should say, to our In the Mixer fantasy football account at fantasy.premierleague.com. I don't have the code, unfortunately. Where's it gone? No. Never mind. I'll put the code on our Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at In the Mixer Show. Yeah, we got a couple of questions on that Twitter. But if you do want to get in touch, just message us on at the In the Mixer Show or inthemixerpodcast@gmail.com, and we will try and get back to you. So, first of these questions that I do not have to hand because I'm stupid. Okay, we got a question from Mark Kindler. At Mark Kindler. Kindlin. Can't even speak. He asks, who do we think our breakout player of the season will be? I'm going to give the wider range. You don't have to use Premier League. We can go Europe or lower divisions if you really want to. I should have really given you a chance to prepare for these, shouldn't I?
So what is the official question you're going for?
Breakout player of the season.
Breakout.
Yeah. So a youngster doing well, I guess.
This is tough.
Name.
This is really tough.
You're struggling.
I am struggling on the spot anyway.
I apologise deeply. Well, I think I'll give you one. Liverpool, Dominic Solanke's had a good pre-season, so I think if he has a good season, it will be a good season. But he could definitely add something with Sturridge now going down injured. It looks like they're going to put a lot of faith in him going into next season, and he obviously has that goal-scoring knack. He's definitely confident in his own ability. So if he actually does get some games, it's going to be interesting to see, because Liverpool are going to be good going forward. There's no arguing about that. They haven't strengthened at the back and in goal, which I think is probably their issues. But they're going to be going for a season, I believe, like they did under Rodgers, perhaps with the SAS. But they probably don't have the players of the calibre of Sturridge that season and Suarez. But they'll probably be going for goals. If you want to be in a team like that if you're a striker, simple as that. So he could have a very good season, I think. I don't know what you think of that. Or if you thought of one.
No, I was just about to say, possibly thinking of the Arsenal youngsters, whether we're talking Iwobi or I'm going to embarrass myself here. Try and remember the other one, the one with the double barrel name.
Sorry, what's this for Arsenal?
Yeah, I think he was on the bench there. Maitland-Niles.
Right. Is he number 62? I saw a number 62.
I think so. I guess so. So possibly one of the Arsenal youngsters have their breakthrough seasons. If not, and I'm impressed with this one, Josh Onama's just gone on loan to Villa.
Yeah.
Maybe this could be his chance to show that he is really going to be Premier League quality, because the Championship is obviously a really good place to prove that. And Villa, admittedly, a good club to prove it at, given that they would be candidates for promotion. So possibly Josh Onama.
Yeah, it's a good little shout. I think another big one, you could maybe, because of this big transfer, Morata, you could argue, hasn't really had a huge season where he scored lots of goals. This could be the season where he makes himself that top Premier League and European goal scorer. And another Chelsea man I was thinking of is Tammy Abraham at Swansea. A Premier League season for him. If he does well, he's going to be on the map. He's probably going to be speaking for the England squad, and he can talk himself into that Chelsea side. Batshuayi in the same context, but I think Abraham is probably the one who I think Chelsea fans are most excited about, because obviously he's been there such a long time. Right, I'll move to another question if you want.
Sure.
Elias. So he's got a mention in the podcast. He actually says Iheanacho to Leicester. Can he keep banging them in now, or will can he keep banging them in now? He'll eventually be potentially be first choice striker. So obviously he's got a lot of competition there with Vardy. Is Okazaki still there and Slimani? I'm not really sure, but he's the one with the top Premier League experience. Admittedly, a lot of those Leicester players have actually won the league, but
this could have been an answer to the previous question.
Yeah, okay.
This could be his opportunity to break through. I believe he has got really good quality. Whether I don't know. I really don't know. I can't because of the competition. It's really difficult for me to understand how much he'd play. for starters. And then second to that, I'm not sure how Leicester are going to play as a team this season. So obviously it depend heavily on that. But I think he could potentially play at a similar level to how Vardy did last season.
Okay.
So, and which would that be considered successful?
I think
Maybe as first season,
if
especially
he pushes Leicester, because obviously they finished really well under Craig Shakespeare last season. If he pushes them into like anywhere near the top 6 and he gets 15 goals, that's going to put him. It's hard to say you put him in the running for Man City because they've obviously got Aguero and Jesus and
but then you top 6 is a tall order with the quality of the league this year.
Competing for that at least.
Yeah, but mind you, we said that last year, but it kind of ended up like it could. There was a big gap, but there's still potential for teams to get that. Yeah, I'd agree if Leicester can play well as a team and sort of push the top ends of the table. I think he'll be among the goals. Really, I think he'll really be starting striker for them. So
we'll ask Ellis what he thinks next week if he hopefully should be here, and we'll also come back to Mark's question as well. And after we've had a bit more time to think about it, we'll
after the games next weekend.
Yeah, and we'll have a look at those games next weekend. Charlie asks, where do you stand on a player or club situations when it comes to the former trying to force a move away, so the player trying to force his way out of a club. Specifically this season, this summer we've seen
Van Dijk.
We've seen Naby Keita. We've seen arguably Neymar, Mbappe as well. So, or saying they don't want to play. So, what do you think of these actual situations?
I think with the finances involved in football now, it's not surprising because these players can take huge pay increases, and that these moves could be stepping stones for even larger ones. So it's not surprising to see that, and that players are becoming way more powerful than the clubs that they're at, especially if they are quality players at those clubs, sort of big fish, small pond kind of thing. I do think at the end of the day, football is employment, and you have to be sort of respectful to the club you're at. But at the same opportunity, I'm sort of in a bit of a middle ground because I think you have to pay respect to the club you're at and the finances, the resources that they've put into you for you to get to that point. But at the same point, if you believe that you're acting above that squad, you want your career to progress. In any other regular career, you apply for a better job or a promotion, and that's football because of the way contracts work. That's not the way that it goes. So I can completely appreciate why some players would do that. When it's the agents and not necessarily the players, I think that's where it becomes an issue, where it almost becomes a complete commercial thing, where it's sort of, my player could be earning so much more. But agents are representatives at the end of the day, so I'm a bit in between. I think if it's justified, then or if there's reasons for it, then I guess it's justifiable. But if it's not, and you are a part of that team rather than big fish in a small pond, then I don't think it particularly is.
I think I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you.
I'm going to sit on the fence here.
I don't really agree with the. I mean, I suppose you can with the whole you've got a contract and you want a promotion, go to a better job for a better wage and stuff like that. It's fine to make that comparison, but when there's a player earning, let's say, 50k a week, 75k a week. That's a lot of money, what I mean? That's a lot of money. And arguably, what could you buy if you're on? Let's take Neymar for example. What couldn't he buy on his current contract to Barcelona that he can buy now on his PSG
Bill
contract?
Gates.
He could buy Bill Gates. I don't know what the president is,
he couldn't.
It's all.
But no,
it's all contextual. It's all relative. If you've just signed a new contract within a year, and then the next summer you say you want to leave, I think that's a bit out of order. But if you've given a club your best for 2-3 years since you last signed a contract, they've asked you, sign this new contract, and then you say, oh, I feel like I'm actually going to leave, or let my contract run down, and they play hardball. I think it's perhaps a bit dodgy. But yeah, like you say, it's all relative, it's all contextual, and I think for the fans of the club, it's definitely unsavoury. But if you look, I mean, obviously I'm a Spurs fan. I saw the Walker thing happening. It never came to that point where he refused to play for Spurs to get his move to Man City, but it still stung when he left because he's such a good player. But you can understand why he left for money and
of course,
things like that.
Because at the end of the day, he does have a family. to look after, and you want to maximize that inheritance fee. Like if you can put yourself in a position where my children will never have to work because of the transfer I made, you'd of course do it.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I think the example Charlie's specifically talking to is he's a Southampton fan, so I think he's specifically talking about the Van Dijk situation, and I believe he signed a contract last summer. I can't remember. I think that's right. And if that is right, I think it's absolutely ludicrous that he's now refusing to train with the team and refusing to play, because you've literally just signed a 4 or 5 year deal. You have to at least, be, I can't think of the word now, but at least accept 3 or 4 years of that deal before you can start making demands. So yeah, I understand football's competitive. A lot of players want to move to the top, want to make the most money, want to win trophies. It's all completely relative at the end of the day. But
Yep.
I think if any player at your club does it, it's gonna be disappointing. Yeah. And the final question from Dave, rambled a bit there. Dave is teams that have done the best and the worst in the transfer window. I'll keep this close to the closed in on the Premier League to keep it a bit more narrow because we're coming to the end of our time here. What do you think, Michael?
Obviously, the transfer window hasn't actually finished yet, so it's sort of best so far. Ooh. You have to argue best probably be Manchester City.
Ooh.
I personally think in that they've made relevant and strengthening signings, sort of these huge international names that for me are gonna maybe. Well, I don't know whether last season whether it was a footballing issue or whether it was a player quality issue, but the signings are definitely a huge statement in my opinion that they've made. I think Man City are the big winners. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to say winners because I think there's some other clubs that have also had really good transfer windows. I think Arsenal have actually had a really good transfer window.
Yeah,
and West Ham, there's a few clubs I've had. I wouldn't say there's one that's a standout. If I was going to pick it in terms of the names, Manchester City, but and then again we're talking it's relative here.
I was actually going to mention Manchester United. I think they've actually done very well. I think they replaced Ibrahimovic brilliantly with Lukaku. Coming back to it now, he's had a very good pre-season since he's joined. They've made a lot of other signings as well. The Matic signing I think is very shrewd. It's going to bring a lot more out of Pogba. And then obviously they've got Lindelof as well. So they've strengthened that spine. They've kept De Gea as well. They've got a very good squad. All they needed to figure out from last season is the finishing against those weaker teams. Lukaku's probably going to give him that, and they've obviously got Rashford as well. So I think they've actually had a very good window and haven't lost anyone they haven't wanted to lose. I think, I understand what you're saying about Man City, but I think they probably had to strengthen more, perhaps in the midfield. Mendy is obviously unproven in the Premier League, but that's he could be great because the fullback standard in this league is terrible. Walker great, has done it before, but it's whether he's going to be the player that Pep Guardiola wants, having been groomed to such a Pochettino style of play. We'll see Danilo as well for them, and again they probably wanted Alves as their main sort of right back with Walker, but yeah, they didn't manage to pull it off. But I see what you're saying. And then you mentioned West Ham as well, who have got Arnautovic and Chicharito as the two main signings there, which is very good attacking options for them. I wanted to just point out, by the way, I saw on Twitter a very interesting tweet. I don't know if it was done after the fact for a little bit of a gag, but if not, then it's unfortunate for this guy because he bought a Barcelona shirt with Neymar on the back, unfortunately for him, and he also bought a Stoke City shirt with Arnautovic on the back. So I think he put something on Twitter like, if you want a player of your squad to leave, just let me know and I'll buy a shirt. So got a bit bad for him. Nice. on that one. What about teams that have done the worst in transfer window? I think Spurs have got to get a special mention.
Yeah,
literally
Southampton probably.
Southampton, who have they signed?
I don't think they've signed anyone.
They've signed someone. I'm so sorry, Southampton fans. I'm really hitting a blank at the moment. They've signed someone. They're signing someone. Oh, I'm really sorry. I apologise. But yeah, I think they have signed some people, but no one particularly of note. I cannot remember. But like you say, the teams like West Ham who have made good signings and stuff are going to overlap those teams. Brighton probably done quite badly. I think a lot of people are tipping them to go down, and perhaps because of the lack of huge. The players they're bringing in or have brought in aren't huge Premier League names, so perhaps a bit worrying for them. But
Maybe,
yeah, I
I
think
was going
an
to say
easy
Burnley,
one.
but I guess it's like
Burnley.
Jonathan Waters and Charlie Taylor
Mm.
and Jack. Yeah, no, don't think I'd really put Burnley as a massive losers. They've done something at least, Spurs.
Mm. Yeah, we'll put Spurs at the bottom. We'll put the Manchester
But
clubs at the
Spurs
top.
might not be completely essential. I mean, what do you want, another striker?
Um, anyone that isn't Musa Sissoko, really. I think Spurs definitely need another right back now, and another centre back, because
Especially if Trippier got injured, didn't he,
he did
yesterday?
against Juventus in a good
Mhm.
2-0 win. But I think, yeah, definitely another right back required. Definitely another centre back required, because I'm not a fan particularly of Dyer. And yeah, I think, to be honest, I think Spurs probably going to be out of sight compared to these other big powerhouses that have spent. Chelsea have spent big, City and United have spent big. I think Arsenal have bought well, like you said. So I think Spurs may be looking for a season outside the top 4 this year. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, maybe they're thinking that the Wembley thing may actually be a factor, and they're sort of just holding their resources back for the move to the new White Hart Lane.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean,
I
yeah,
don't
we'll
know.
see. It's definitely going to be a tough season of transition. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So yeah, thank you for your questions, guys. Like we said, if you want any more, if you want your questions answered, just message us on Twitter at In the Mixer Show or at In the Mixer Podcast. In the Mixer Podcast at gmail.com for an email if you prefer. And yeah, we appreciate all your messages, and we will definitely read all of them and try and get them on the podcast if we can. So I think you happy to wrap up there?
I'm perfect. I think we've had a good run today. I think
Yeah,
we've
I think we did okay for the two of us. We've held down the fort until the Swedish Master of Knowledge returns next weekend, hopefully, and hopefully will give us a little insight to what you thought about that Community Shield as well, and some of the questions that were asked. So yeah, it's a goodbye from me, a goodbye from Michael,
goodbye from me.
and yeah, we'll see you next time in the Mixer. Bye.